Hey, my name is Chuck, and I'm excited that I get to hang out with you guys for a few minutes every single morning. And I love the theme. I love this idea of interruptions and encounters with Jesus. See, an interruption is something that occurs that's kind of out of the norm, and an encounter is something where your life intersects with something else. And so today, we are going to look at one of those stories out of the Bible, and it's the story of Zacchaeus and how his life was interrupted and how he had an encounter with Jesus. And the story comes out of Luke 19 verses 1 through 10. And what is occurring, kind of the backstory a little bit, is that Jesus is on his way to Jerusalem for arguably one of the biggest weeks that has ever happened in the history of everything. Now, he's heading toward a week that's going to be where he walks into Jerusalem, and it's where he is walking toward and about to experience his death, burial, and resurrection. So where it completely changes all of history and changes eternity for so many. And he's coming out. Zacchaeus had heard that Jesus was walking through, and he decides, I'm gonna allow myself to have an interruption. Now, he was short and not well liked, and so he's working through the crowd, finds this sycamore tree, which is a pretty good hiding tree, and climbs up in it. So Jesus is walking along and allows, and actually even causes, this interruption. He looks up and he calls Zacchaeus by name. Now, there's no indication that they knew each other. Jesus calls Zacchaeus by name. Now, I wonder, I'm a huge Justin Timberlake fan. If I walked into a room and Justin Timberlake looked at me and said, "Hey, Chuck," I would lose my mind. And you probably have someone like that for you. Zacchaeus had worked his day to where he was going to experience Jesus in some way. And Jesus looks up and says, "Hey, Zacchaeus, hey, I want to come to your house today. I want to hang out in your world." Now, you got to know, because of what he did for a living, he was not well liked. So there's probably grumbling happened with other people going, there's no way that Jesus should be hanging with this guy. But Jesus goes and hangs out with Zacchaeus in his home. And then the Bible tells us that Zacchaeus starts talking about all the things that he wants to do because of this change that has happened in his life, because of this interruption, because of this encounter. And Jesus tells him, salvation has come to you. I've come to seek and to save that which is lost. So when you hear all this stuff that's happening here, you begin to notice a few things. And here's what I want you to know this, is Zacchaeus was looking for an interruption, and Jesus was causing an interruption. He allowed the interruption. He was okay with the interruption, even though something huge was coming up. Verse 5, Jesus basically says, I want to come hang out with you in your world. I wonder what that meant to Zacchaeus to know that, man, this person that I have been looking at wants to come and hang out with me. Verse 9 talks about the fact that life changes come. And then in verse 10, Jesus tells Zacchaeus that he has come to seek and to save that which is lost. Now, that word lost there doesn't mean doomed. It means to basically that it was in the wrong place. So the right place is drawing close to God, believing he will draw close to you. Why do I know that? Because in James 4:8, this is what it says. It says, draw near to God and he will draw near to you. The invitation is to draw near to God, and the promise is knowing that he will draw near to you. So the right place for Zacchaeus was knowing that when he draws near to God, when he allows that intersection to take place, that encounter, God is going to draw near to him. And through that, he found salvation. Through that, he found life change. And through that, he was able to realize that being in the right place is being connected to God through salvation and to allow Jesus to change his life. So I want you to read Luke 19, verses 1 through 10 again today, and put yourself in Zacchaeus' shoes. What would you have done? Where would you have gone? What would you have been feeling like? Put yourself as the character in that. And then when you journal today, I want you to ask yourself your questions. How would you feel if you were Zacchaeus? And then ask yourself this: what did you like about the story? What was hard to accept about the story? What did you learn about Jesus? What did you learn about yourself? And is there anything that you need to walk out in obedience because of the truths that you heard today through that story? Hey, I hope you have an incredible day, and I can't wait to hang out with you every single other day this week and look at other encounters with Jesus. We'll see you tomorrow.